morning, Vietnam! I always want to do that. From an active war zone, this is almost that, right? You could say down here in Ecuador today. I'm not exactly Robin Williams, but then again, who is, right? So today, I'm going to give you an update on what's going on as we speak here in the morning of Tuesday, June 28th here, 2022. What's going on with the roadblock situation in case you want to travel around Ecuador. I've talked to contacts I have pretty much all over Ecuador. That's what happens when you live here several years, is you end up knowing people pretty much all over. So I was able to draw on my resources. Also, people coming to my Airbnbs here in the Quito area. I've been talking to them and gathering information for this update here today. Now, let's start with that there are current negotiations for there's been like 15 or 16 days now of these roadblock protests where they block the roads and don't let anyone pass. And just for the last day or two now, they finally sat down and they're negotiating here in Quito, the leaders of both sides, basically, the indigenous and the current government administration. So we'll see if that puts an end to this shortly. The indigenous want among other things, a 40-cent decrease in the price of gasoline, which the government doesn't want to do. Maybe no one's told them that the price of gasoline has basically doubled around the rest of the world over the last year or two, but definitely not here in Ecuador, but they don't seem to want to hear that. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. First off, on the coast, from what I gather, there's basically no problems, except for that the price of fresh produce particularly has gone through the roof. Definitely some scarcity issues going on there. Some people angry, but other than that, not too much out of the ordinary going on in the coast. But the ways to the coast from the highlands are currently still cut off. So I would not try to get from the coast to the highlands or the highlands to the coast as of today, unless there's a resolution. Maybe who knows? Maybe this evening or maybe tomorrow or the next day. But as of now, I would not try to travel from the coast to the highlands. All these roads here, like the Mindo Road and the Santo Domingo Road, have been cut off and are currently still cut off. Now, I just spoke to a guest of mine that arrived to my Airbnb last night here in Quito. She came from Tena. They drove. Her and her couple drove from Tena and made it to Quito. Almost no issues. There were just a few little roadblocks here, but they were kind of half-hearted and kind of unmanned and kind of passable. So she made it. And surprisingly, currently as we speak, from Baeza through Papayata, Quito, I did a part of this road yesterday. Actually, it's very clear. No problems at all the way to Baeza to Quito. Pretty interesting. Now, if we're looking at the Quito area here, like where I'm at in the valleys of Quito, Tumbaco, Cumbaya, and out to Puembo in the airport area, no issues at all, right on the Ruta Viva, the main road that connects the airport to Quito. Currently, Tuesday, and the last couple of days now, there's been no issues whatsoever. At the beginnings of this, they were blocking the roads here to the airport and the bridge to the airport, but not for the last few days now. So it's perfectly clear, and you actually don't feel anything except a few things are going up in price, like eggs. A 30-pack of eggs used to cost $3.25, $3.50-ish 2 weeks ago, and now yesterday I just paid $6 for a 30-pack. So again, out here in the outskirts of Quito. So again, some things you're starting to see. You don't really have gas shortages or anything. And in the north part of Quito here, really north central, really no issues. But the problem arises when you try to get out towards Guayabamba from Quito, heading north, right on this road here, or heading out towards Mitad del Mundo, San Antonio de Pichincha. This whole area here heading out towards Mindo in the west is totally blocked, right? Totally blocked still, this whole area of north Quito, leaving Quito. I got a report from one expat who said it was like a war zone, basically, right? Just don't even try to go to this area here. Just massive roadblocks. Heading to the south of Quito near Tambillo, if you noticed, all the roads kind of go to Tambillo, and the indigenous knows that. And there's a nice little nasty roadblock right here into Tambillo. I did speak to another guest of mine who left for Ambato. He did make it, but he said there was like 30 or so roadblocks heading down towards Ambato. You had to switch cars a few times, and then you walk past the roadblock, catch another car. That's kind of the way to do it. And you can't really travel with bags, right? For security purposes, and also to be hauling bags, it's not a good idea. He said it took him multiple hours longer than it normally does, and at one point he had to walk like 20 minutes, but he did make it from Quito to Ambato. So that whole area here, Quito, Ambato, Baños, Puyo, Riobamba, this whole area here, ton of roadblocks still, right? And to the north of Quito, trying to get to Cotacachi, for instance, Otavalo, Cayambe, still a lot of roadblocks in this very indigenous area. It's just travel is still not very advised from what I gather. Now you can make it if you really have to. If you travel light and you're willing to walk across the roadblocks, maybe walk a little ways until you're able to catch another transport and continue on until you hit another roadblock. But again, this area is still problematic. I did get a report out of an expat from Cotacachi this morning on Tuesday. He said that a lot of shops are closed and there's starting to be noticeable food and gas shortages. Also in the Ibarra area, nobody seems to have gas already. Now let's talk about the southern Ecuador area, like the Loja area. I just spoke to some contacts I have there. Loja on to Catamayo, Vilcabamba, to the airport of Loja, no issues whatsoever since last week, right? There were a few roadblocks there at the beginning of this thing, but now no problems. I know that yesterday the main road connecting Loja to the Amazon in Zamora just got freed up from a report from the police, so you can make it to Zamora. And this whole area here is Zamora, southern Amazon, no roadblocks whatsoever. As of now, as we speak, Tuesday, June 28th. Now, the central Amazon, Pastaza, obviously there's still some problems and some roadblocks there. And if you try to get to Baños, you might be SOL, right? So, again, if you try to get, though, from Loja into Cuenca, you're not going to make it. I just spoke to a policeman in Cuenca right now as we speak that I personally know. And he said all the roads into Cuenca, which really aren't many, if you really break this down, there's only 3, it looks like, 3 big ones, are all cut off. And it looks like this morning, July 28th, people are angry. Taxis and buses are striking against the strike, it seems. There's no way in, there's no way out. You're starting to run out of gas, you're starting to run out of food. It's a problem. So hopefully there's a resolution to this soon. Otherwise, this thing could go downhill quickly. Any trips to Cuenca at this time, I would say just postpone. Wait for some type of solution, resounding solution with this situation. And his exact words were, I'll hide his names. I don't know if he wants me to share his name or not, but he said, as of Cuenca this morning, July 28th, he said, there's no public transportation, out of gas, dwindling food and medical supplies. People have had it here. Those were his exact words, right from the ground. There you go. That's kind of the situation as far as the roadblocks here today on Tuesday, June 28th. I'm Mr. Second Passport. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button below.